I don't think a lot of people know that you were a musician before you started all this. Why did you leave all that to go and help people around the world? It's not just Pakistan, like you just said, you've helped people around the world. Why did you decide to do that, take that step?
Well, a kind of dramatic thing happened to me along the way. I was getting good reviews and playing in front of more and more people, putting out CDs. I went to New York. Sid Bernstein, who brought the Beatles and the Stones and Jethro Tull and others to America, and he was a promoter in the 60s and 70s that hit a lot of these artists really big in America from the UK. And of course, this was the year 2000 when he signed me. He was semi-retired, but he was still such a big name. When you brought the Beatles and Stones to America, everybody knows your name. So he knew a lot of people in the record business. He liked my music, and he set me up with a showcase for all the record labels to hear me at CBGB's nightclub. But that was September 12th, 2001. So the day before was 9/11.
Yeah.
So that kind of put the kibosh on that concert. 9/11 happened. I went down and worked at Ground Zero for a week. And while working at the site of the fallen towers, something changed in me. The pursuit of fame and fortune and money and adulation from thousands of fans just rang hollow to me after that. It felt, I have nothing against people that chase that dream.
Yeah, of course.
It's a perfectly legitimate course of action. But for me personally, because of what I learned about myself at Ground Zero, I learned I was good at logistics and good at helping these firefighters and doctors and even rescue dogs.
You discovered a skill set.
Yes, people that were trained to go into destroyed buildings and burning buildings, they need help. They need backline. They need people to take care of their transportation, their communication, their medicines, their supplies, their food, whatever, you know. And so I was good at doing that. And after my 5 days at Ground Zero, and I would have stayed longer, except I was a lone wolf. Was really needed in the first days when things were chaotic. But once the larger efforts took shape and they realized which buildings were not going to fall, because they literally had 50 and 60-story buildings around us that they thought were going to fall on us during the first 5 days. Finally, they got all that figured out. They were able to create warehouse space and get their larger efforts together. And then I wasn't needed anymore and I left. But I left Ground Zero a changed person. The pursuit of the music business for me, you know, was, I guess, you know, rich and famous and ego kind of for myself. And, you know, I wasn't doing it for anybody else. I was doing it because I wanted to be famous and rich in the music business and use my talents for that. Afterwards, I guess it humbled me. The experience humbled me, but it also taught me that I have a skill set that was undiscovered. And all these music business dealings, being in the band, getting paid, setting up the equipment, driving God knows where, and the van breaks down and you have to fix it because you're in the middle of a cornfield somewhere in Iowa, and if you don't fix it, nobody's going to fix it. Dealing with managers and lawyers and radio station people, trying to get your record played, go in the studio and record, write your own songs. So I think from that you kind of learned logistics. So I was able to apply that to Disaster, and I just felt a calling to do that kind of work after 9/11. I felt that it was a shallow, selfish pursuit, what I was doing before, and this actually mattered to people's lives. And I could still play music, I just wasn't doing it for the commercial thing and for my own ego and for my own self. So I still play music, and I've played with a lot of the biggest Pakistani singers and greatest musicians. I mean, some of the greatest musicians on the planet are here from Pakistan. It's incredible, the talent here. So it's been, for me, a way to learn the culture, learn the language. And of course, I started out learning about a lot of the Pakistani westernized pop singers, which are very good because they put the Eastern flavor into their music. But the real stuff, like Sanam Marvi and Sayan Zahur, and I can keep just going on. And of course, discovering more about Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan and some of the instruments here, like the rubab and the sarangi and the tabla. They're just fascinating, and I really enjoy more than going to a big famous concert. I like going to some small village and hearing the local music.
You like folk music?
Yeah, I mean, there's something spiritual about it. It takes you way up there, and then at the end, you don't want to come down.